thought today would be a good day to look at how to make lunch from leftovers. You guys have Thanksgiving coming up in another week, and there's always all this food left over, and what do you do with it? Besides just continue to eat stuffing and turkey, and after a while it's the same old thing. And I know a lot of people complain about not liking leftovers in general. So I, on the other hand, do a lot of food prep, and I do food prep one of a couple ways. Sometimes I actually make full meals that I prep, that we eat off of, depending on what it is. I do a pizza casserole and some things like that we enjoy that way. And then there are other times when I'll grill a whole bunch of meat. Maybe I'll throw some chicken and some salmon and burgers on the grill, and I'll just make meals off of those all week. And with the protein already being cooked, it makes putting the meal together very quick, because I can throw it on a salad in 2 to 3 minutes. I can fix some side dishes maybe in 10 minutes, and it makes it very quick. So if you have littles and a lot of things going on, or you're just getting home from work and you just don't feel like it, it's nice to have those elements already done, and then you have healthy food that you can use. So today I happen to have some leftover chicken. So that's literally just some grilled chicken. So this is what we're going to use for our salad today. I'll be using a baby spinach mix. Now I'm a weirdo when it comes to how I eat my salad and spinach. I am about texture, and I don't like these, big pieces. So if you can just kind of watch what I'm doing here, I take it and I lay it down, and then I just kind of like roll it together. I think I have the camera back front so you guys can see. And then I'm gonna take the knife and I'm gonna cut it. And this just really, to me, from a texture perspective, it makes salads it just makes them more pleasant, to be quite frank, on how I'm going to eat. Now, for most of you, you'll be doing considerably more salad than this. If you remember, I am a bariatric patient, so I've had weight loss surgery, and I've had a gastric sleeve, so I've had 80% of my stomach removed. So I don't have room for much more than that and a couple ounces of chicken. So if you're following keto, make sure whatever you use, you have to look at each individual ingredient and see what your amount of sugar and carbs is for each ingredient. I'm pretty careful. What's really nice about having these items at home to make is that I already know what they are. I'm not going to the restaurant and wondering, was there any gluten or carbs in that chicken? And so that's just kind of nice. And again, if you can see here what I'm doing, that way for you, I'm just really cutting these up into bite-sized pieces. And so again, part of doing this is just really making it more palatable and pleasant to eat. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do, so far we have spinach and we have chicken. The next thing I'm gonna do is, I happen to really like beets. So these are just pickled beets, and I figured next week you will probably have some of these too after your dinner. And I'm just gonna do the same thing here with these. I'm just gonna kind of cut them up a little bit. Now, if you are following keto, you do wanna be careful with how much you do, because beets do have carbs in them. So although I do follow a low carb lifestyle and kind of a keto plan, I am not right now actively trying to lose weight. Right now, I'm just maintaining. So I'm more low carb than keto. I'm not monitoring my ketones, okay? So I'm not trying to stay in ketosis, which would be the difference. But the foods that I'm eating, most of the food I'm eating is keto based, so it's low carb and low sugar, okay? So far here's what we have here. You can see it that way. So I've got my spinach, my chicken, my beets. Next, I'm gonna do some feta cheese. Now, feta cheese is something I really like, so I always have it on hand. This one happens to be a sheep's milk feta cheese. I found that the goat milk and sheep milk, that we tolerate that better. If you've been following us very long, we don't do much dairy, and we didn't do any dairy, and now we're doing a little bit, but we have found that sheep's milk and goat milk we tolerate really well, and we have incorporated a little bit of cow's milk dairy now, if it's lactose free. We found that we can tolerate that a little bit, so that really makes it nice as well. So far here's what I have here. Okay, and presentation's kind of a big deal. Do you see how nice that looks? I really think making things visually appealing. I'm not doing anything special or fancy. I literally, as I cut them up, I'm just putting them in rows. The last thing I'm going to include here, because I happen to have it, something else that I keep on hand, and these are sun-dried tomatoes. This one's happen to be smoked, okay? And so I'm going to do the same thing with these here. And I'm just going to kind of put them on the edge. So again, if you're following keto, you do need to be aware of your sugars and your carbs. And look at your serving size, because oftentimes you'll find, I'm trying to think, this one in particular, the total carbs on this is 6 grams for a serving, okay? But that's 2 tablespoons. So I only had, if I put this all together, there's maybe a tablespoon and a half there. And I probably, if I was really watching, I probably would have only done 1 tablespoon if I was trying to lose weight and keep in ketosis. So you need to keep that aware, because then that would only be 4 carbs that I'd be adding. So make it about the servings. Just put a few. If you are trying to keep those carbs down, just put 2 or 3 little pieces on it. You don't have to do a lot. It still adds a little bit of flavor, and you can still watch your carbs that way and not go overboard with it. The last thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of dressing. This is a Primal Kitchen, so this is, and it's also made with avocado oil, because we don't use canola oil. We try to avoid that, and I have found that my stomach tolerates the avocado oil best. So my preference, and part of the reason I have this all separate here, put this back so I can show you, I put a little bit of that on the salad, and then I'm going to toss the greens a little bit and let it mix on my salad before I get on everything else. I just really like my dressing. Now when I make a, sometimes I'll do a cold cut sandwich. Maybe I'm in the mood for a sub, you know, without a bun, and I'll use one of those cheese roll-ups or an egg wrap or something for it. I will do the same thing with my spinach, and I will go ahead and dress my greens, because once you dress the greens, that's where all that flavor goes. It didn't get all of it on the plate. I was able to kind of measure and make sure I only used 1 tablespoon, because that's all that I wanted to use. And by the way, the serving of this is 2 tablespoons normally, so I only use half of what it says. So when I'm looking at the calories and the carbs and everything on this, and I'm saying for carbs, it's less than 1 gram for 2 tablespoons. So if I would have wanted to, I could have. I just didn't want it that wet. So at the end of the day, this is just the salad that I'm going to have. I have my spinach, I have my extra grilled chicken, some beets, feta cheese, and some sun-dried tomatoes. And it's just really yummy and easy, and a great way to use some of those leftovers and incorporate a few things you may already have in your refrigerator, just to kind of freshen it up so you feel like you have a fresh meal. So if you try it, let me know what alterations you make and what other things you might have had in your freezer or refrigerator, and let me know how you liked it. Here's to healthy eating.